Welcome to Tuesday night after SummerSlam. It is the NXT podcast. Better late than ever. It's Alfred Konuwa, joined as always by our returning champion, NYC Demon Diva Issa. Issa, I saw you during SummerSlam weekend, right? We had an exchange, but I believe we have some explaining to do, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I did see you. I just want to clear up for everybody because I know I'm the queen of the crap talking here. Hold on, I got the video just started on my phone. Alfred did reach out to me on multiple occasions. I can confirm that Alfred reached out to me on multiple occasions to pay up his debt. Unfortunately, somehow we ended up being scheduled for the complete opposite media activities. You were doing the one I wasn't at. I was the one you weren't at. Like, I don't even know how that went down. And Detroit, I don't know what's up, but Applebee's closing at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
we could not find the time to go to Applebee's because we were busy bees. But I just want to make sure people know that it's not because Alfred, because he did dodge me in LA. Like, he was not trying to pay. But in Detroit, Alfred texted, we tried. It just did not work out. I did see you. I love that shirt that you wore for SummerSlam. I thought it brought you out. I loved it. I thought you looked great. But yeah, we could not get together. It will happen. I'm not letting it go. If you guys think I'm letting it go, I'm not. So it will happen. It just wasn't meant to happen in Detroit. Detroit, Applebee's, you guys need to stay open till midnight. What is that 10 p.m. BS? In downtown Detroit closed at 10 p.m. No.
Yeah, a lot of places in Detroit closed early. It was kind of a ghost town the first night I was there. It's a beautiful city, I'll say that, especially where we were staying. But yeah, they did not open for very late, and we just kind of got on different schedules. So it's okay. This is the longest running storyline in all of wrestling media. It's cinematic. And to borrow a phrase from Paul Heyman at the press conference that we were at, we're in the bottom of the third of this storyline of me giving you the dinner.
The Applebee, and I will borrow a phrase from your favorite. We will finish the story. When? I don't know, but we will finish the story.
We promise we will finish the story. And we just got back from Detroit. That's why we were a little bit late. It's because our planes just landed and now we have to get right into this, right?
That's not true. It's because we were both waiting backstage when neither one of us. You have to have host capabilities to run this program, guys. And me and Alfred forgot that Glenn was not on tonight. So we're just waiting backstage for him to bring us in. And then we realized, like, we've been waiting for like 50 minutes. I don't think Glenn is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he did send an email. We both spaced out on that one.
Yeah, we just forgot. So we're here, we're fashionably late. Okay, that's all that is. And everybody is glad to see us. And we're glad to see you guys. Let's get into the news. Something that you're not going to be glad about, Issa. I'm going to be very delicate about this, and I'm going to ask for your opinion. Roman Reigns appears to be injured.
He's not injured.
Apparently, the injury was suffered early in the SummerSlam match, so that's a good sign that he was able to finish the match. A very long match, maybe too long, some would say, against
Roman
Jey
Reigns
Uso.
Can always finish anything. He's not like your boy Cody. He finishes.
Cody Rhodes takes longer to finish. It's not about the size of the boat. It's emotion in the ocean, and it's about stamina.
I don't think so.
And Cody has
It's not about
stamina.
After a little while, things dry up. Okay, this isn't about like. That's not how it works, Alfred. I mean, we don't want to finish too quick, but we also don't want to go that long. You feel me?
Well, he might have blown his load a little early if he is hurt and can't compete at WrestleMania. So nobody knows the severity of the injury. To me, it doesn't sound that bad.
He finished the match. He's Roman freaking Reigns. There's nothing he can't do. If a bone breaks, it magically heals. Like, he just looks at it and smiles, and that bone just magically heals itself inside of his beautiful, perfect body. Like, he's gonna be okay.
It's not known what this injury is. We've seen plenty. WWE superstars are the toughest athletes in the world. So plenty of WWE superstars have finished matches with horrible injuries. I'm not saying I hope that's what it is. I'm just saying we've got to keep our minds open. I think he's going to be okay. I don't know how long it is, but
okay.
I do think it would be very funny if he was out for so long that they'd have to implement another world championship and they have to create what would be a fifth world championship as an interim title. Then that storyline might have jumped the shark.
That's not going to happen. Roman's going to be okay. We know that Payback is a B pay-per-view that we don't necessarily need him to be a part of. I think there's a lot of drama going on between the Usos with Solo to kind of keep the bloodline storyline going without the necessity of Roman being there. I also remember that there was a lot of rumors about him being injured after that War Games match, and he ended up coming back 2 weeks later like it was nothing. There's like, I feel like the Roman Reigns stories, like WWE and him, are so private that we hear, but we never really know what the full version of it is. So I don't know what to tell you other than if he needs a nurse.
We have a nurse on call 24 hours a day.
7 days
Fly
a week.
right to the island.
Anytime, anything he needs. Anything, Roman. I mean it. Call me.
Okay, before this injury gets X-rated, let's move on to another story about somebody who else is not going to be wrestling anytime soon, and that is one Brock Lesnar. Take it for what it's worth. The gossip websites are saying that Brock Lesnar is not going to be back for a while. That's according to the Wrestling Gossip Radio. That he's going to be gone for a while. That is Brock Lesnar. Of course, we saw at SummerSlam, he did what any warrior would do in putting Cody over, not only losing to Cody Rhodes, as anybody will, but also showing good sportsmanship in a rare bout of good sportsmanship, raising Cody's injured arm, which Cody had to sell. That was kind of funny. And doing a send-off of sorts that it seemed he had his gloves off. I thought it was easily the best match of SummerSlam. That's not even close, but probably the best moment of SummerSlam next to Io Sky cashing in. I thought it was a great moment. Looks like we're not going to see Brock Lesnar for a while, Lisa.
That's okay. Like, I saw somebody still calling him a part-timer at SummerSlam. I was like, he's been in every single PLE this year. This is the first time that we've seen Brock participate in everything that they've done. If he wants to take some time off, let him take some time off. What else is there for him to do? He's here now to elevate. We seem to keep him away from world title pictures, and that is okay. There's nothing for him to do. Let him take some time off. I thought we were going to report on the fact that we almost saw Brock's beast at SummerSlam. That's what we should be talking about. That was crazy. I thought we were going to see the real beast.
He did rip his pants. Thank God that didn't happen, because that's not something I'm interested in. But you get in a war, you sometimes rip your clothes. This is a rubber match. And
I have my reaction, and it was so funny because I'm like going through editing my SummerSlam content, and for some reason, Alfred, when it happened, and I noticed that, the first thing I did was just cover my eyes and look away.
There's that shot of him like spread eagle about to take the crossroads, and you just see it split wide open. So,
and I think that is like spoiler alert. There's a preview of the vlog coming to my channel. I just went, oh my god! I went like this, like I was seeing something I was not supposed to be seeing.
Now, if Roman Reigns were to split his pants, what would that reaction be like?
You would be bailing me out. Then I jumped the barricade. I kid. People take what I say too seriously sometimes, and it's just like it's a joke. It's a joke.
Let them take it seriously.
Alfred, sometimes it's just funny what people like take too hard.
Oh yeah. I know.
Like they don't. I know you get it, but it's like, have a sense of humor. Relax, guy.
Yeah, relax, everybody. Relax, like Brock Lesnar's pants when they ripped.
No, that's a little too chill.
I hope those pants are on display at WrestleMania Access. That was a legendary match and a legendary moment.
That would be amazing. I love that moment was unscripted. I want Brock to take his time. I think even this feud with Cody felt a little too long, like it went on for a little too long. But it's like I do have one more match that I would love to see Brock, and that is Gunther. And that is something that I feel should be a WrestleMania match if it happens. So give him some time off and make people miss him. Right now, I almost feel like he's been there a little too much. So it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree. And I think WWE is aware of the Brock Lesnar Gunther and how much people want to see it. They did tease that at the Royal Rumble, and I think it'd be a great match to see Brock and Gunther just slap and meet.
Gunther says he wants him. So
yeah, Gunther's been lobbying for that match for quite some time now. I'm sure they're going to get together and mix it up when all is said and done. Well, it's Gunther not all good news.
Gunther is as intimidating as he looks in person. Just want to say that. I never had gotten the opportunity to talk to him. I got to interview him this weekend. I was scared to walk up to him.
I saw some clips. It looked pretty good, but I was getting some complaints from some of my media brethren that were saying he was very short in his interviews in terms of his answers being 1 or 2 words.
People don't know what to ask him about then, right? Yeah. Isn't it your job as an interviewing to kind of like, as an interviewer? I noticed it because they did things differently. So you were like kind of like waiting on a line. So you're seeing, and I noticed it. And I was thinking that, I was like, oh my God, this guy's on character. He's giving you the yes, no treatment. So you know what I did, Alfred? I asked him about wedding planner and I cracked him and he started talking about the wedding planning. Yeah. Boom.
Let's go. See, that's what you got to do. You got to find out what they like or maybe relate to them in some way. And they can be, not all of them, but Gunther is one of those, can be a tough nut to crack. But like Issa said, if you've got the skills.
Now, even talking about wedding planning, I was still intimidating. Even as he was talking about like the wedding planning, I was like, this wedding planner didn't get it right. I guarantee you things would have gone down.
I love my wife.
Yeah, but he was very much on character, and that's like, I think that's a lot of fun in what we do, is just finding out who's gonna give you that interview in character, who's completely off character, just talking about whatever. Like, you never know what you're gonna walk into, and every person that you interview is such a different approach. But yeah, he was very much no. Yeah, I said Shaq Gable said he wants you to win a SummerSlam so he can take the title off him, and he's like, that's cute. It's good to have goals and dreams. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I wouldn't have it any other way. That's exactly what I'd expect Gunther to be like. He's all business. And if you really want to have a conversation, I don't want to see clips of Gunther talking about like flower potting and just going into these long, you know what I mean?
Correct. That's exactly what I expected. And I like seeing it. He gave me, well, I'll tell Grayson Waller is a little more intense, but I had that experience with Grayson Waller WrestleMania weekend where there was no cracking him out of character. Like, he was on and he wasn't going to snap. Like you said, I would have been kind of disappointed if I walked in and Gunther would have been just a cool, chill dude that talked normal. So anyway.
He's like, girl, I love your hair. What did you do with your hair?
Yeah. Nice red bottoms. No, I don't want that from Gunther.
Well, our final news story is with AEW, which the Saturday Night Wars commenced this past weekend, Issa, and it resulted in the lowest number in the history of AEW Collision. This was a good litmus test in terms of what AEW Collision is going to be up against. We talk a lot about the competition and this, that, and the third, and this is not a good omen in terms of AEW Collision as first broken through the Fast Nationals by Alfred Konuwa Forbes. The final numbers did come out this past week on Tuesday, earlier this morning. It's 417,000 viewers.
That's not
on
that
average.
bad.
Not that bad for Rampage. It is, more of a Rampage number in terms of Collision. And if you look at what Collision has been doing, listen, I like Collision. I actually kind of like Collision better than Dynamite when I get around to watching it. It seems like the more urgent show. I like what CM Punk is doing with that belt. I like that they're giving Ricky Starks a shot. I think he's been really good. And they moved the MJF Adam Cole storyline there for a little bit in terms of that big tag team match they had, which they did a great number. They did one of their best numbers last week. And so right now, when the show is kind of heating up, I believe it was like 6 in the high 600s. Might even be in the 700s, actually.
Wow.
734,000, I think is what it was.
They're almost at NXT numbers. Good job, Collision.
Almost, yeah. Not everybody can be NXT, but
that Dominik Mysterio effect. I don't think that's a bad number compared to the fact that they were competing against freaking SummerSlam. If their number is usually 600,000 for you have people like me. I still have it on my DVR. I haven't sat down to watch it. I'm all wrestled out after this weekend. I need a break before I just go out of my way to watch wrestling. If I don't have to watch it, I'm not gonna watch it, right? I have issues with Collision because I like it. The one time I sat down and watched it, I thought it felt like a whole different show from Dynamite. I love the vibe. I love the wrestling. I love everything that they were doing. But that time that they're on is terrible. It's just terrible. I have a lot of in-person things that I do here in Puerto Rico, and I had SummerSlam, and this Saturday is gonna be my first Saturday off in 3 months. So you really think I'm gonna sit down and watch Collision? I don't want to go near anything wrestling, so I feel bad because I do think there's a lot of wrestling programming. But I wish I could see the DVR numbers on that because I always say that's a Sunday morning over coffee kind of show. I think that show is getting watched on DVR. I personally don't go back and watch it a lot because of the spoilers. We see so much of it scrolling through social media that it's what is the point to sit down and watch the whole show? But I will tell you, I don't think that number is that bad given the fact that they were competing with WWE's biggest monster in the summertime. So.
Yes, WWE, and there was this celebrity boxing match with Jake Paul.
That's right.
Nate Diaz. It is, for comparison, down 44% versus last week, 54% in the demo, which is not ideal. But AEW Collision, I agree with you in terms of I almost never watch it on a Saturday. I do watch it on delay just because, they've got the weekly storylines going. And I do want to give the show a chance as long as they're putting something into it. And I think that Collision has been good so far. It's just that we're seeing these numbers now. And yeah, this might be on the higher end of what they would do against strong competition, because you've got to imagine that the numbers are going to erode over time in terms of where they're going to settle in. And during football season, how much of the football audience is going to take away from Collision? I know the wrestling audience will. I know the combat sports audience will, but football is such a monster, both college and pro. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I don't know that AEW's Collision is going to find its audience. I think it's always going to be going through some weird up and downs depending on what they're competing against, as opposed to Dynamite, that they found their niche. It's that 800,000 number, somewhere in the 800,000. That's their niche. Yeah. They hit that no matter what. I don't know that we'll ever see AEW Collision have like a steady number, just because there's another thing. If I am home on a Saturday and I'm not doing anything, yes, I'm going to turn it on. I have nothing else to do, but me being home on a Saturday is rare.
Yeah. Saturday's a tough night, but we'll see. So good luck in all their future endeavors. And we're going to get into WWE NXT, which I thought was a pretty good show. We had a lively show. We had some SummerSlam fallout. And we had a main event with Dominik Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. And Daddy Ray was in the building for this. So we're going to get into all of that.
Yep.
We start off with Mustafa Ali versus Axiom. And what I thought, again, NXT's openers tend to be very, very good. And when Mustafa Ali is in an opener, you know that it's going to be an excellent match. We get an appearance from Scripps, who appeared at ringside.
With the
got
Bodega
Axiom's
Boys.
attention. The Bodega Boys, yes, he was with his guys, his goons, the Bodega Boys.
I need that gimmick, and they could pull it off. They could so pull it off.
This is a pretty physical match. Went back and forth with forearms. Ali sent Axiom crashing to the outside, and he got him back inside, delivered the 450 splash for the basic win for Mustafa Ali. He was talking trash about how he's going to be doing this for the North American Championship, maybe, or for the future in NXT. What did you think about this match? What do you think about Mustafa Ali winning?
I thought it was a banger. I think the right person won, but the back and forth, they gave this match a lot of time. I like what they're doing with Scripps and the Bodega Boys. I know I make fun and call them that, but I am intrigued about their partnership, them coming together. I want to see where it goes. Is Scripps a manager? Is he gonna I'm very confused about what we're doing with Scripps, but he has been invested. But yeah, overall, this opener was awesome. It's what you can expect from Axiom and Mustafa Ali. I feel like we hadn't seen Mustafa compete at this level in so long, and it's just good to see him just doing what he does best in NXT, and it was a lot of fun. And Mustafa went backstage, and not backstage, I think he did it in the ring, actually calling out the North American champion, so he won some Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah, and I think it's great to see guys like Mustafa Ali, who are talented and are kind of having nothing to do on the main roster. He does seem energized, and he's having great matches, which he's always been capable of, but he's getting the time, which is the key. It's not just a couple of spots here and there. He's actually getting to have full-fledged matches, and he just fits like a glove in NXT. I don't think he should ever go back to the main roster, honestly. I think it's a great place for him to work. As long as he has other guys like an Axiom, those top-tier people to work with, I think he fits like a glove in there.
Yeah, and a lot of them are very happy there. I mean, we didn't get an opportunity to talk to him, but I heard Baron Corbin on one of his other interviews say he wants to stay in NXT a little bit longer. Yeah. He doesn't feel the need to come back to the main roster. He's having fun. He's working on his gimmick. He's getting good matches. So, I mean, a lot of them are happier to be there. Good for them.
Yeah. So we go backstage. We get a video of Schism. They have a message for the Creed brothers because
they're going crazy.
Julius, they are going crazy. They're losing their minds. Julius and Brutus, they're going to have to turn the Performance Center upside down in order to find them. So they're starting to really kind of lose it because it's very similar to what we saw with Kevin Owens when he was doing the Ezekiel thing with Elias, to where he swears that it's the same person, just like Schism is looking for the Creed brothers. What do we think about this storyline?
Where'd they get all these people, Alfred?
I don't know, because a lot of them showed up.
They had a lot of people, boys. It felt very Retribution the first time they showed up. Remember when Retribution showed up with 12 people, and then they went down to 3? Yeah, it gave me Retribution vibes. But I mean, it was a show-long story. They had it going throughout the show, and I always appreciate something that keeps you watching, and they don't just show this one thing and forget about it. But they're going after the wrong people. I don't think they should go after the D'Angelo family. We'll get into that later.
Oh, yes, let's get into that later. But before then, we have one of what is becoming one of my favorite storylines in NXT. So we get Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan. She's with Dana Brooke, who is slowly starting to go heel. It was a quick match, nothing special, nothing to write home about. Kalani's very new, and I'm sure, she's going to get better, obviously, but she's got the athletic ability.
I thought Blair made her look very good tonight.
Yeah, Blair's a pro, and so they looked fine in there. They just kind of kept it relatively short. And the story coming out of this was after the match, Brooke, she went to attack Davenport with the belt, with a weapon, and then Davenport slid out, she left, and then she almost hit Kalani Jordan because she's starting to go a little nutty. And
everybody's going crazy on NXT today.
Yeah, something's in the air, and it's Florida. You're in Florida long enough, everybody goes crazy.
It's humid. It's quite humid right now. I don't know if there's anything like it's here, but it's been very humid here in Puerto Rico. It might be getting to them.
She's becoming a Florida man before our eyes, and I love it. I think it's great.
Oh my God, let me look up. Hold on. Go ahead, keep talking.
To me, between Kalani Jordan and Dana Brooke, it's like Dana Brooke is like the stage mom who's kind of living vicariously through Kalani Jordan. And she's getting angry that Kalani doesn't have that killer instinct because all these people on social media are going to attack you. And she's putting all of her anxieties on Kalani Jordan. And the worse it gets and the more unhinged Dana Brooke gets, I think the better it's going to get. Because it's like a stage mom who's like, if you don't dance right, you're going to end up divorced in your 30s. So she's like putting all of her anxieties on
her. Really felt that way. It really
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it did. I liked it. I liked it, and I think they should have done this with Dana Brooke a while back. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yes. We get Noam Dar and a metaphor. Okay.
Oh, God.
I thought this was going a certain way, but they did something with it I think kind of ruined it. We'll get into that later. But so now we've got these two Heritage Cups, right? Noam Dar has got his swagger back. He's got his own Heritage Cup, which is like the fake cup. It's basically the AEW Collision storyline with the Heritage Cup without the spray paint. So Noam Dar is now defending this fake Heritage Cup against Tyler Bate. They're having themselves a nice little match. It's actually a really good match. We go 3 rounds. It ends up at the very end going 2-1 Tyler Bate, who wins with the roll up for the 3 count, which caught me by surprise. Here I am thinking that, are they going to just introduce new Heritage Cups each week when he keeps losing them? So now
I think so. That would actually be hilarious.
But Noam Dar, which I was very surprised, but I was laughing so hard at the fact that this man introduced a brand new Heritage Cup only to lose it to Tyler Bate. We can go forward in terms of what happens. They had a backstage segment with Tyler Bate, and he actually ends up giving it back to Noam Dar, who's now going to have a match, it seems, with Nathan Frazier for the Undisputed Heritage Cup. Not at all where I thought they were going, and I thought that kind of hurts the storyline in terms of how you lost the title and you're just giving it back like that. What did you think?
I would have been here for everybody carrying around a Heritage Cup. Like that, I was like, oh God, he's going to get depressed again next week and they're going to give him another fake cup and we're going to have to keep doing this, like every time, so I think Nathan Frazier has it, so now he has to wrestle like Tyler Bate next week, so we condense it back to one, but then they present more one with another one, and we keep it going. I would NXT will pull off some wacky story like that and make you enjoy it. Yeah, they definitely went in a direction that I wasn't expecting. The match was so good. I don't know what they need to do, and maybe this is just me. Let me know, chat. I don't know what they need to do to make these rules make sense, because I feel like as soon as I read that it's a Heritage Cup and they put those long list of rules that my ADHD is not gonna let me read through the third line before you already lost me, and it makes me really lose interest in the match. Like every time it feels like it's picking up, the round ends and then you have to stop. I cannot get into the matches as much as I would like to. I thought the action was great. Tyler Bate is always great to see him in action. Noam Dar is really good, but I can't fully get into these matches the way that I should, and I feel these Heritage Cup rules really kind of mess with the flow of it, and I don't know how they can help you care about them a little bit more. But they still these rules. I mean, we've seen this cup being a part of NXT for probably a month or more now, and I still cannot get into these matches.
It's very hard. It's almost a hit or miss proposition to try to incorporate MMA or boxing rules into a wrestling match. Sometimes it can go well. I mean, Raw Underground we like, but again, you can kind of look at that as a flop objectively. When they try to do that, we saw that
in wrestling.
It is. I will say that too, but not everybody feels that way. In fact, more people don't feel that way, unfortunately. And that was on display with Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler, which I felt so bad
mad.
for.
I don't even want to talk about it. I was so mad. I was actually there. Like, that was one of the matches I was looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
And it's like really funny because I was saying that the same people that were there, like, going crazy for Cody staying outside of the ring for the count to almost 10. They weren't doing Brock and Cody. No offense, I like the match a lot. But Brock and Cody didn't do nothing for like 70% of that match other than wait for Cody to get back into the ring. And they were going crazy for that. And here are these women doing all these crazy takedowns, all these crazy physical
punching
things.
each other in the face.
And they're chanting boring. And I'm like, you're going crazy for a 10 count of somebody, of Cody just like doing this. It's okay, but it is wrestling, right? And we're there for wrestling. But it's like, I just didn't think it makes sense because, like what you said, I feel like we're so wired to a certain kind of thing that when they try to introduce something new, it's very hard for people to get into it.
Yeah. And, you know, Cody Rhodes is a psychology master. So that's all that was, a little psychology. But I mean, I agree with you in terms of I was rooting for this match. And I feel like the fans did not give it a chance. Those boring chants started almost immediately.
Immediately.
They had to follow LA Knight. But like they did not. I could tell that
was another thing.
Were working.
When LA Knight won, I knew what match was coming up next, and I'm like, these ass. They should have put them before the Battle Royal, maybe. I don't know. But you saw what Shayna looked like the next day. That eye barely opened. She comes out with all these bandages. So she looked like a badass, and she wrestled on Raw. But that's how bad they were punching each other, and nobody's reacting to it. Drove me crazy. But again, I think maybe a fight pit setting would have been better for them. I think like the MMA rules for that match got introduced very too last minute and people didn't comprehend what the rules were. And it's the exact same issue that I'm having with these cup matches. However, I still did enjoy the action where I felt like with Shayna and Ronda. But the Detroit crowd was quiet in a lot of moments that I was like, you guys shouldn't be this quiet for this. Like, even for the women's triple threat, I loved it. And it felt like the crowd didn't even wake up for it until like halfway through it. Like, there was a lot of moments that I was like, wake up, you know? So
yeah, like in the main event.
I was very, very, very awake. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I will say, I think part of the problem, there was a time when it was particularly when Brock Lesnar went to UFC. It was around that, 2006 to maybe 2012, where there was a huge crossover between MMA and WWE. Where I think if you did a match like that, even when Brock Lesnar came back and he had kind of an MMA match against John Cena, where there was a lot of ground and pound, that era of wrestling fan during that reality era, I think was really into like a shoot style match. But now if you look, there's really no crossover. There's not a lot of huge crossover between UFC and WWE.
I think the refusal to accept Ronda in WWE
that too. There's that too.
Because listen to the thank you Shayna chance that she got the next day. I think like Shayna got, because that was a big win for Shayna. And if you're a fan of Ronda, like nobody have made Ronda freaking pass out like that. Even on the times that she lost, you know, like I'm a huge fan of Ronda, and I think that Ronda's gonna be somebody that years, like if she's done, whether she's or not, years from now, people are gonna probably understand that it was taken for granted. We had a legend up there, you know, just working WWE and nobody really paid attention. I liked her first run a lot more than this, and I'm the biggest Ronda Rousey fan. I thought this second run was weird. The first run was a lot more efficient, but yeah, I just don't think, like, I don't know if it's a crossover thing like you were saying, or I don't know if it's a Ronda Rousey and wrestling fans thing, but she also didn't do herself any favor to win the fans over either. So,
well, maybe she didn't, but the thing about Ronda Rousey it's hate. It's not apathy. Yeah. These people want to hate Ronda Rousey, so that does manifest itself in actual reaction. The lack of crowd heat or apathy was because they didn't care, which I think is that there was a study that came out that said that I think it was like 2.5% of wrestling fans admit that they watch UFC or whatnot. It was a very low percentage in terms of what it has been in the past. And I mean, I remember even in 2010, there was like a UFC show the same weekend as a WWE show, and it really hurt WrestleMania of all things, where it did a pretty bad number for WrestleMania standard. And I think that's kind of dissipated, where even though Endeavor owns both WWE and UFC, I think there's a big delineation between what people watch.
It's funny that you bring that up because you're absolutely right. I've always been a fan of combat sports as well as wrestling, which is really funny because I tell people this is why I enjoy storytelling more on wrestling, because if I want to see two people really mess each other up, I tune into UFC. I watch wrestling for the stories, you know? Yeah, of course I enjoy a good in-ring match, but there's some drama behind it that is scripted. Anyways, I remember when Brock announced that he was coming back at 200 and how bad I marked out. And I was like, why is nobody freaking out like I am? Like, I feel like people in the wrestling side were like, oh yeah, Brock's going to UFC. When I'm just like, do you people not understand what a big deal this is? The crossover appeal has been gone for a while. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, well, we have back from break in terms of NXT. Oh, backstage, there was a segment of the Schism just going crazy. They're interrogating Hank and Tank. They want to know where the Creed brothers are. Wanker does not know where they are. So they're continuing the search. The detectives on the case. The emo detectives are on.
And they keep multiplying.
Yeah.
They keep multiplying. There was more people there.
A very virile group. They're just producing all of these. Do they lay eggs? Where do they come from? We're never told where they come from.
Maybe they fed them after midnight or something.
That's what it is. They're little gremlins.
Yeah, they got them wet. I don't know.
Whoa.
Hey, come on.
Well, I'm just saying, that's how babies are made. Well, let's be adults about this. Somebody has to, right?
Unless it takes you too long to finish the story. We talked about that.
There's no such thing as too long. We're in the bottom of the third. We're back from break.
That was one of my favorite questions on the junket. Yeah. What inning are we in? Yeah, bottom of the third.
That's going to be a question every junket from now on. And he's just going to... he needs to start
I can't keep doing that. I'm just going to keep track of Roman's matches and assume that's an inning, right? So if he wrestles like in a Survivor Series, that's the top of the fourth. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we got to look at it now.
Yeah. We see Carmelo Hayes. He's backstage. He's nervous about his buddy. They're really building up how Ilia Dragunov is just going to destroy Trick Williams. That's how you know they've done a great job with this Ilia Dragunov character. He's this little guy in a suit who, if you just look at him, just not talking, you just think, oh, what's this guy going to do? But he's got an aura about him where the entire roster puts it over that he's this killer who's probably going to murder Trick Williams. And I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But even if he doesn't, even when he doesn't talk, he gives me, I will find you and I will kill you vibes. Like, there is something about him. And I know he's like a smaller dude or whatever, but he's got that scary vibe where you're just like, don't mess with that guy. But I'm with you. I don't think he's going to, I think Trick is going to beat him.
I hope they could listen. I like Ilia Dragunov. There's a lot of Ilia Dragunovs in wrestling. Okay, there's only one Trick Williams. They had
such a good segment. I thought the promo, the back and forth. I thought Trick looked better than Dragunov here.
Yeah, I thought they were great going back and forth, and it's really making me excited for this match, which I think is going to be a very good match because of Ilia and how experienced he is, and because of how he could get a very good match out of Trick. And this seems like WWE, or at least NXT, trying to get Trick to level up in the ring. Putting him with a guy like Ilia Dragunov, I think, is going to do him wonders. I hope they have multiple matches because this was a very good back and forth that they had when they're talking about him. Just Ilia Dragunov, so good delivering his lines, like he's going to kill Trick. That's essentially what this was.
Yeah, but Trick came ready for him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love this
Trick had
because
I
feel like Trick is also him. And because he's hanging out with Melo, I feel like you could never see all that Trick could do. And now we're getting to see that. I love that they didn't break him off because they shouldn't have. But I love that now we're really going to get to see it because there was a couple of weeks that I was like, man, Trick is really the star in this duo. And we're not seeing it that way. And now we're going to be able to see it. We'll see what it builds to. But I do hope they have multiple matches. But I think it will be amazing to let Trick get the win.
Really pulling for Trick. This is a great segment. Very intense. And they did a good job.
Stuff.
So we see the elder statesman Rey Mysterio, and this is what I liked about Rey being on NXT is there were segments where he was interacting with the young talent. It wasn't just confined to Dominik Mysterio and the main event that they were having. He's chatting up with Roxanne Perez, and then he sees Thea Hale. He talks her up. He says he knows what it's like to be the ultimate underdog, which I thought was so great because both of them are kind of in that phase. Thea very little. She's always going to be the smaller person in that match, similar to Roxanne. But Rey gives her a pep talk, and she asks Rey about his relationship with Dominik Mysterio, and she goes, "Do you still love your son?" I was hoping Rey would be like, "No."
He hesitated to answer. He's a horrible dad. He doesn't love him. He was about to say no, like you said, and then he was like, wait, let me be politically correct because he's the ultimate baby face. He can't say the wrong. He can't say what he's really thinking, you know?
Yeah, I thought he was going to say no. It did seem like he was gearing up to say no, but then he, like you said, he did thinking it through, and then he gave a very diplomatic answer. He said that I don't like who my son has become. He's into the wrong crowd, which is like he's talking about like he's a teenager. Dom is like in his mid-20s. He can hang out with whoever he wants. At this point, his friends are his friends. But Rey said he's hanging out with the wrong crowd. I don't like what he's become, but I do love my son. And it kind of gives credence to your theory, Issa, that down the road, they're going to reunite. And this is the type of rhetoric we're going to see, is that he still loves Dominik Mysterio.
I think that when I saw the reaction, and I told you guys that here, when I saw the reaction to Rey finally sticking up for himself, for Dominik and all that, I was like, my God, if Dom got all this heat from doing what he did, the Dominik coming home story booked the right way is gonna be even more beautiful. Maybe they win the tag titles one more time, I don't know, but I think they could do something really special with the face term. I just don't think it's time for it yet. I love everything that Dominik is doing right now. I love the idea if you have somebody of the caliber of Rey Mysterio backstage in a developing brand, it only makes sense that he's talking to people. Of course, I would expect everybody to want to go up to him and talk to him and get advice from him. So I love seeing that part of things, seeing Rey giving advice, seeing him with Roxanne. I thought this was very well done.
Yeah, I thought it was really good in terms of Rey Mysterio interacting with the talent backstage. And then we get the go home line from Hale is Chase just goes, "Oh, wow, he just talked to Rey." And she goes, "Yeah, but unlike him, Rey would never throw in the towel." And
yeah, he did.
Bars. So she's still mad at Andre Chase.
She is salty.
I think it's so funny. She's doing a great job playing that kind of petulant, like upset with her dad character.
That's some international money, Alfred. Yeah. We made it.
We get to, what is it? I don't even know how to pronounce what kind of money.
That's Australian money.
Well, that's Australian. Dylan Matthews, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Is there any chance that Dom is using Rhea for what Buddy did to Ilia? That has been a theory out there. What do you think, Issa?
I don't think so. I think that I wonder how much Buddy cries at home every time he has to see this interactions.
Yeah. The Twitter reaction. Twitter has been shipping Rhea and Dom, and they're just showing all these, and they're being professionals. But Twitter wants this to be more than it is, and so I think that's what's going to piss them off. Yeah,
but no, I think that Buddy and Rhea, maybe they have some arrangement in which this is okay.
Are you implying a muckhold situation?
I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying that they discussed it. They trust each other. They understand, and they're okay.
It's the modern era. So there's all kinds of ways we can love each other. There's open relationships, and nobody should be shamed. Nobody should be kink shamed. So whatever agreement that they have, I would be in full support as long as nobody got hurt.
Yeah. Wow. You are such a gem of a human, Alfred.
Why is it just Buddy Matthews who's getting all this smoke? Because Dominik Mysterio is engaged as well. Why? I mean, I know she's not in wrestling, so maybe that's what it is.
If I'm engaged to Dominik, right, and I see Rhea, I will get it. I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it too. Go for it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She's probably jealous of Rhea. She's also Dom.
She's jealous of Dom. I feel like it doesn't matter who you are in the world. That's how hot Rhea Ripley is right now. Tell me you wouldn't tell your significant other. You're engaged, Alfred, right? And your fiance is like, all these girls trying to get it in with me, and you see it's Rhea, you'll be like, all right, yeah, go for it. Let me know how it was, please. I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rhea made a sexual innuendo during an interview that we had, and it's going off because people are horny and they want to hear her talk about that kind of stuff, and it's just going off because she made a bulldozing reference in terms of being bulldozed.
I love that. I saw it.
Get Rhea big sexual innuendos if you want your content to pop off.
Oh my God.
Oh, speaking of popping off, we get listen, I was disappointed by this because I thought it was going to go much longer. It was big meaty men slapping meat, Braun versus Von. They built this up. Von's got this new shirt about getting tabled, which I think is a funny way to say you're going to put somebody through a table. He's turned table into a verb now. But we get them just beating the hell out of each other. We get Braun Breaker is just out of levity. He's berating Wagner. Wagner fires up and hits him with a clothesline, fires off some right hands, delivers a back elbow, splash in the corner, and then Breaker turns around with a spear, just a spear for the win. Braun Breaker wins. And Von Wagner had been promising that somebody was going to get tabled tonight, and he made good on that promise. Wagner sends Breaker crashing through the table, with the power bomb. So this storyline clearly is going to continue, and hopefully they have a match that goes, 10 minutes. I want a match like those matches he had with Solo, because those were great.
Yeah, same. But I like the way that this went, because I feel like everybody got their stuff in, right? Like, Braun hit that spear from out of nowhere that he hits. Like, I love his spear. I'll admit it. And we got the 1, 2, 3, but then you still let Von Wagner get his stuff after, which continues the story. Big meaty man slapping meat. If the story is gonna continue, I'm perfectly okay with the match. Big, short, simple, and to the point. I liked it. I thought this was good.
Yeah, it was good. It left me wanting more, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah, and somebody got tabled. I hate when we get lied to. I hate when we get lied to. So at least just give me what you're promising, and it happened. He didn't say I'm gonna win. He said somebody's going through a table, and that's what happened.
I love tabled as a verb. I think he's doing a great job of that. It's on a lot of merch. We go backstage. We're still searching for the Creed brothers. Schism looking for the Creed brothers. They asked the D'Angelo family if they've seen the Creeds. Nobody knows where these Creeds are. We go back to the ring, and it's Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak.
When the hell? I don't know if you watched this full segment, but they went to front to the D'Angelos and they pulled out crowbars from out of nowhere. It's literally like they have this superpower where they open their hand and a crowbar just manifests into their hands when they're about to fight. Because I don't know where these crowbars came from, but it was very well done. I don't know where they got them. I don't know if they pulled them from somewhere, but it really looked like they got crowbars out of nowhere.
Maybe it came from the same place that the Schism clones came from. So a lot of magic going on.
Things are manifesting backstage at NXT performance center.
So we get Gulak and Dempsey versus Josh Briggs and Jensen. They have a nice technical wrestling match. Gulak interfered with the body slam, and then I planted Dempsey on the mat. Then they went to the outside. All four of the men get into a brawl. Damon Kemp ran down. Trick Williams called Oompa Loompa. It was him and two other guys that he called the Oompa Loompa. I thought that was very funny. Came down, he leveled Jensen while the referee wasn't looking. So Dempsey hits a bridging half Nelson suplex for the win. Charlie Dempsey, Drew Gulak are your winners of this match. What did you think about this match?
This was my intermission.
Yeah, me too.
This was my intermission. There was something about this that I just can't get into. I don't know what it is. I mean, it was a good match for the parts that I did see, but I didn't pay attention to this full match, and I cannot get behind the story.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't much of a story here with these guys. I feel like that they're not really telling us what the story is. It's just this was really mostly a match. There wasn't anything to sink your teeth into for this match, I didn't feel.
Agreed.
I like them better when they're with Thea with the Chase U thing. I feel like they never really properly broke that off. So hopefully they keep that going.
Yeah.
Maybe she joins up with them.
We'll see. No, it's not that deep.
I mean, you never know that. They've been teasing that she can go heel. I hope she doesn't, but that could be a possibility.
I don't see her as a heel, but I've been wrong about people going heel, and there's a couple of people that I assume that are gonna not work out, and they end up working out. So
this is directed at you, Taylor Swinson, please. A multitasking Issa is telling you to chill. Somebody's a really big fan of Omos. Gonna have 7 feet worth of text about Omos by the end of this podcast.
I timed him out. I had to. I'm like, I'm gonna give you a timeout to relax and think about what you did.
We got Kiana James versus Ivy Nile, who seems like a woman without a country without the Creed brothers. She's just out there having a match. James planted Nile with a spine buster, locks her in another shoulder submission. Nile fired back with a power slam, and she locked in her signature submission, but she got too close to the ropes. She stared down with an interfering Ava, and then she relinquished the hold to confront Ava. That led to Kiana James planting Nile for the win. Kiana James wins the match after we get Schism and we get this bizarre segment where 2 members hold Nile in place as Ava demands Nile, tell us where Julius and Brutus are. And the family ran down. They got crowbars. They got all these clones. They're hitting the ring mat. This is a wild scene. What did you think about all that went down as the Schism goes deranged in looking for the Creed brothers?
I couldn't deal with not that I couldn't deal, I couldn't watch the match because I was so distracted by how it turned into a lumberjack match with all these
Yeah.
crazy kisses on members that just magically showed up around the ring. And then they were pounding on the mat. And I was like, it's distracting, but I like it. I was like, I'm into it. What are they going to do? Like you said, there's a little bit of a Ivy now feels lost. And then the D'Angelo's coming down. Yes, continuation from what happened earlier, but it makes no sense with Ivy just feeling so lost and then her losing this match. I don't know that this did a lot for Ivy Nile, but I did think that the visual schism with all the people and all that was pretty efficient. Like I was more into that than the actual match.
Yeah. So I was too, and it's good that they're doing this whole storyline, but they are really. I'm looking forward to the Creeds coming back because I think the longer they're gone, the wackier this is going to get in terms of all they're going to go through to try to look for the Creeds.
Agreed.
We get this main event. It's Dominik Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. We get some words from Rey Mysterio before the match. He's treated like a conquering hero that he is. I thought this was a good match. That Dragon Lee looked really good. Dominik hung right in there with him. We get Dominik trolling Rey Mysterio with a 619 frog splash. This match ends the way just about every Dominik Mysterio match ends because Mommy bailed him out.
You need to relax.
Mommy used the Women's World Championship and
Dragon Lee Mysterio
in the back of the head. So Mommy once again retains the North American Championship. Congratulations, Rhea Ripley, on her North American Championship retention, and your winner. Still
okay,
champion.
I'm gonna start calling you Lyra Valkyrie. Like, mind your business, Alfred.
It's Dominik Mysterio who is your champion technically. As a North American champion. I like the storyline. The guy is a heel. He's the biggest heel in the company, arguably in the business. So you got to win all your matches with outside interference.
Rhea doesn't have a freaking feud, so he can't help Rhea. I guarantee you he would do the same thing for Mommy if he had to, but he can't help her. I like the match. I think the highlight for me is, like, I know how good Dragon Lee is, but we keep seeing Dom. I get that the ending is a heel ending, but we keep seeing Dom hang on in the ring with like really, really great people. I think he's improved so much in the ring. And like we discussed before, I was never worried about Dominik's ability to wrestle. Like, I guarantee you Rey Mysterio is teaching him how to wrestle since before he could walk, right? But I don't know that it gets talked about enough. And I'm like, yo, Rey, like Dom is like hanging on with like Wesley, with freaking Dragon Lee. I think taking him down to NXT is really showing. He's on these main events on Raw and SmackDown, like wrestling some of the biggest names, and he's just, just up there with them. Like, yeah. So I'm just being really impressed with like what he does in the ring, because I stopped paying attention to his in-ring work just because I've been such a fan of his heel run. But I just want to commend him on what he's doing in the ring. I think his matches are entertaining. They are going to have to eventually start doing something with the Rhea finish. I think it's just a lot of the same, and it's going to get... Yeah. It's going to get old at some point, but they did add a little something with the whole Lyra attacking Rhea after, but it didn't feel like it made sense to me. Why Lyra got involved in this? Like, I thought that she got a good rub from Rhea. They got a good match. Rhea was like, go and do your thing. So I thought, like, I don't know, Rhea doesn't kind of like embraces everyone in her tough love way. So I didn't need to see her coming back into this. I needed to see her just like take that and go, but I guess she's mad that Rhea helps Dom. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's because Lyra Valkyrie is now like coming in and she's chasing them off, and it was
like
kind of like a
social justice warrior of the ring. Yeah. Like, she needs to chill. She's that person quote tweeting everything and just like arguing with everyone. That's the vibe that she gave me tonight, and I was like, it's like. It's gotta be hard. Like, I love what they did with Rhea and Raquel, right? Where Raquel just came out of nowhere and attacked her. It's gotta be hard to try to go against Rhea, because Rhea does no wrong in anybody's eye, regardless of how big of a heel she is. So for her, you just look lame trying to stop Rhea. You know what I mean? And it came off that way tonight for her.
She's in that cool heel role, which is very tough for baby faces because she's going to get cheered over them. So hopefully
because she had a point. She had a point, but nobody cares. It's Rhea Ripley, and she's cooler than you, and doesn't matter what you say. Nobody's going to like boo her for helping Dominik. Don't boo Dom. Dom is the one eating all of the heat. They're not going to boo anything that Rhea does.
When it's time to break those two up, like, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but given how popular Rhea is and how hated Dom is, it could be one of the bigger pops in terms of when she finally hits him or whatever. It could be a really big moment.
And in my opinion, also outside of the Lyra looking kind of lame, it also makes his opponents look stupid. Like Dom has won every match this way. Why are you not paying attention? Why are you taking your eye off the ball when you know exactly how things go with a Dominik Mysterio match? You're just letting Rhea beat you up on purpose at this point because you know how it's gonna go. Why are you allowing it?
Yeah. Speaking of beating people up, Rhea has a very masochistic fan base who, you see the tweets where they want her to like lick her armpit and punch him in the face and stuff like that. So I was at the meet and greet with Rhea. One of her fans walk up to her and they're like, it was a really heartwarming moment because she's like, "Oh, Rhea, I was going through a depression and you really changed my life and you helped me get through a very tough point in my life." So she's just pouring her heart out in terms of the impact that Rhea's had on her life and on her mental health. And then Rhea's like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And then the lady just kind of waits a couple of beats and she goes, "Can you step on my head?" Rhea's got my such surprise. Like, well, I don't know if I can do that. So great. So they're always committed. I love her
because there's that one part of Rhea that she is the coolest, but if you talk to her in a different basis, you'll understand that she's just like a normal human, and sometimes you can still like throw her off. I have been lucky enough to be around Rhea a few times, and for me the funny thing is that I still like fangirl when I see her, and she just makes so much fun of me because I'd be like I'll give you an example. When I saw her in a place outside of wrestling in Puerto Rico, I'm like helping everybody get in, and as soon as she gets in, I just like lower my head and smile like a little fangirl. She's like, "You gotta stop this at this point." And I was like, I can't help it. Like she knows and she gets it, but like once you like start talking to her, you realize she's a really cool chick, but she's just like a normal human. And I had to ask her one night, I was like, "How do you deal with all of it?" And she's like, "I'm just enjoying it." Like, and she is, and she stays very connected, which I think for a heel is also what makes her the cool heel, because she's very aware of her fan base. She responds, she retweets, she reposts. And I think that she maybe can change the game, because a lot of the heels in wrestling don't interact with their fans and they won't do these things because they're heels, right? Where Rhea's out here doing it, being a heel, and I think she gets it. I think like the fan base is like, look at where she's at. Like I know people that know who Rhea is that haven't watched wrestling a day in their life because of TikTok. Yeah. You made a TikTok famous, you're mainstream, and she has the most followers out of anyone in WWE right now. So I know. So I posted up one of my pictures with her. Like I had a bunch of people that I know don't watch wrestling. They're like, Rhea Ripley, and I'm like, I mean, I cover wrestling for a living. Yeah. And I was like, how do you know Rhea Ripley? And it's because of TikTok. It's because of other things. She's in a really cool position, but when you talk to her, it's like I don't know how she deals with it, because she's a little more reserved and introverted than what I expected her to be.
Right. No, she's very down to earth. I mean, she's still cool. She's really what you would expect in terms of being kind of cool and very quick-witted and funny and stuff like that, but just more down to earth. And I think she does a good job even as a heel interacting with fans, because you'll see those clips at live events where she scares children and stuff like that, and flirting with Samantha Irvin. So she does a good job getting herself over, interacting with all the things that are around her.
She's doing a lot of things different. I think so is Dominik. I think Dominik is getting that I don't know. There's something about Dom that you hate him, but because he's with Rhea, I also happen to think he's cool. He's good enough for mommy. I'm not gonna hate on it. I don't know. I like what they have going, and I do agree with you. Whenever they split them up, it's gonna be crazy. But right now, I like them together. Even if the Judgment Day was to fall apart because we don't know what's going on over there, I can see Rhea and Dom staying a thing, no matter what happens between Finn and Priest.
Yeah, and I think it was a mistake to not have Finn win that world title. I mean, they could do a whole podcast on that, but I was not very happy to see
I wasn't either. I said if Finn is going to lose, then Priest has to cash in. Like, I don't know that he helped anyone to just walk out in the same situation that we walked in with that. But I kind of knew we weren't going to get two cash-ins on the same night. But Finn could have won. I don't know. Like, it just felt like 7 years, the trilogy. It's not a trilogy. They actually wrestle each other like a million times if you keep track of it. But we'll call it a trilogy.
We don't count that.
Right, but we'll call it a trilogy. And it was just like, man, like, I don't know. I like Finn. I like Judgment Day. And I didn't want Priest to cash in if Finn won, even if he waited until the next day, because I wanted the visual of all of Judgment Day holding something, like giving them that power, having the briefcase, having the world title. I think it would have been cool to open Raw with them all having something, but that's not what we did. We'll see where it goes.
I mean, if Finn would have won, I wouldn't want that being cashed in for about 6 months. I would have wanted a bloodline-like long-term tease every month, every week, where you kind of peak it. And then when it finally does happen, it would make Damian Priest into a superstar.
It was overbooked. The match itself was good, though. The match
very
itself
good,
was really
very
good
match. Wild, great to watch live. I'm glad I was watching that live.
Yeah, me too. But the problem is that once it got overbooked and once you got to the finish, so you know what they say? They remember the finish, and it's just like, what just happened? You just watch a great wrestling match, and then you're like, really? We're just gonna do the same thing we did last time? Okay,
No, absolutely.
But yeah, I have fun watching the match.
Yeah, it was a good card, and it was a good NXT. I thought NXT was fun. It was a fun show. We had a lot going down, and I think we're going to see Dominik defending that title probably every week, and I have no problem with that.
I think that him and Mustafa is going to be fun. Mustafa called him out. That might be really what's next. Mm-hmm.
That's going to be really good.
Yeah, it was a fun episode of NXT. There was a couple of things that I still can't get into, but I think the North Heritage Cup for me is because of the rules, and there's other teams that they have to do a better with the storyline. But overall, I thought it went by fast. I didn't realize like it was almost time to be done. So good job, NXT.
Very good job, NXT. Where can the people find you, Isa? And all your content? Everywhere. You're going to have a lot of interviews coming up?
And they're already out. The Lucha Libre online
I've seen a couple of them.
Works faster than the devil. Okay, like they shout out. You guys can find me on Lucha Libre online. Shout out to my team over there because like they sent me with a cameraman, and all I had to do was just send in the interviews. And you live the life. You know, you just send in the content. They edit it. They post it. You don't even have to. I didn't have to take a tripod, Alfred. My life has been changed. I'm a spoiled brat. If you guys want to see the interviews that I did, go to Lucha Libre Online. You guys can find me here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My YouTube channel, I have all kinds of vlogs coming. Mom Spaghetti. I checked out Mom Spaghetti.
Hey, it was so good. I saw it.
M&M fan, so I had to go and get a shirt, even though I don't wear t-shirts, but I have it, damn it. I had the SummerSlam vlog coming. I have a lot of fun content coming outside of my live streams. You guys can watch wrestling with me, but I also have a lot of fun Detroit vlogs coming. NYC Diva Diva on YouTube. Go subscribe.
And follow me at This Is Nasty on Twitter. I'm going to have a big Forbes article coming out about the WWE C4 partnership. A lot of big numbers in terms of WWE's business are going to be in that article. And then go on Pro Wrestling Bits. I'm going to have some bits dropping as usual. And I've been posting shorts, clips of my interviews with Seth Rollins and Rhea Ripley throughout the week. Doing very well. So check those out. Some really funny stuff that they've been saying. And some real fun questions that I got to ask them. So we had a lot of fun out there in Detroit. We will pay off our debt. Okay. I will pay it off. It is a long-term storyline.
Yeah.
Patience. We're in the bottom of the third. Okay. We're paying it off.
I will say, I will give you all the credit. Alfred tried. We tried. We tried. We just like,
both tried.
Yeah, like the day that I was doing interviews over here, Alfred was like an hour away. And then when I was here, he was over there. I was over here. Like we were like, I think the only time I actually saw you was at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, yeah. It's usually not. I'm usually with the wrestling media with the rest of them, but they like split it up and had me be with like C4 and WWE. Because
I think it was good
like,
that you did article. The C4 because the junket was obviously. You saw how many there was like a lot of outlets and like it was very hard. Like a lot of people didn't get to get everyone at the junket. Where I feel like you got more relaxed interviews because a lot of people chose to stay in downtown as opposed to go to that event.
Yeah, that was a lot easier for me. And, the junket, they still haven't really figured that out yet. So I'm happy to do them, but, like, it's still kind of tough in terms of getting that face time with the talent. So hopefully they figure that out by Philadelphia.
Or by Chicago if we have one, because that's Thanksgiving weekend. So we'll see how that goes.
That's right. Yeah, we'll see about that. I'm still on the fence about that. We'll see. But that is NXT, everybody. We will be back on Friday for SmackDown. Roman Reigns return. We're going to find out more about whatever injury he does or doesn't have.
He doesn't have any injury. He's perfect.
Everything's fine. He's going to be okay, everybody. For Isa, I'm Alfred Konuwa. We miss Glenn. We'll see you on Friday. Good night, everybody. Bye.